cars.
And so I bet you today, little man, love that man.
You in our family to this day.
Yeah. And my the boy said, people said he got him a home, a car, and everything. Little man do.
Yeah.
I said, oh, that's nice to hear. And I talked to him not too long ago.
Okay, well, the emotional, you said emotional?
Okay, it says the emotional, and this is what it said. You might start thinking, was I not good enough? Was I not lovable enough to him to stick around?
Thank God I didn't think that, but I was like emotionally hurt as a little kid without a father. You know, that festered into drinking and all kinds of stuff. But let's see what else you got.
Look at this. Those wounds don't just magically heal when you hit adulthood. They can color every relationship you have moving forward, making it hard to trust, to feel secure, or to believe that you're worthy of love. It's like your dad's absence becomes the lens through you which you see everything, and it can distort your view of yourself and the world around you.
Yeah, because I had God at an early age, you know, some of those things it didn't.
You're right about that. You pray for us too.
Yeah, if I didn't have God at an early age, I probably wouldn't be alive right now. But yeah, like feeling like not worthy and all that, I did feel worthy because I did have God. But
that's something.
Other things, yeah, it was there.
Two, trusting people not.
I
figured I want you trusting people not so easy. Keep going.
Yeah.
Trusting people not so easy.
No. And I taught my kids that, which was sad. Before I got healed, I taught my kids don't trust anybody. And honestly, I still tell them not to. I said, but it's going to be a time when you got to trust them to a certain degree, but don't wholly 100% trust anybody. Because of the way we live today, what's going on in today's society, you can't really totally trust anybody like that. So it's mostly because of that, you know. But I had started out like that, you know, due to, you know, things of that nature with the absent father.
What about this, Cheryl? It's saying it can seriously mess up you. You might find yourself always waiting for the next disappointment.
Yep, I'm still doing that.
The next abandonment too, Cheryl. It said next abandonment.
That I got through, but the disappointment, yeah, I still be like.
It says like you constantly bracing for people to bail on you.
Yeah, I used to be like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just like your dad did.
I used to be just like that.
And that lacked trust. Okay. Let's go. Oh, did you know it said and lacked trust? It can seep into all your relationships, making it super hard for people to get close. You might push friends or partners away, or maybe you just never fully open up. That's true.
That's correct.
Because deep down, you're scared of being let down again. Trusting people after being burned by your own daddies. No walk in the park. That's the shit.
You guard your heart. Yep. Like you don't want to feel that hurt and pain. But you know, like I know him now. I don't know. I dug him up somewhere. But I know him now, and it's like, yeah, I know I said it like that. He's been bad. But it's like, I don't feel like now we're not talking again because of his issues. But still, I feel like I'm glad that I did find him again. You know, see how he's doing. And sometimes you gotta like be in a relationship with your dad from afar at bay. You know, if they still, you know, if they're in your life and they're not a good influence, it's better not to even, you know, be a part of their life consistently. So it's like every once in a while I'll check in on them, but to be there consistently, it's not good for me. So I'd rather not even go there with him.
Is it that the rejection and the hurt is tremendous? You know, you get tired of getting, you know. I mean, talk about what made you want to keep your distance because of his brokenness.
Because of because of him, he drinking again, and when he drink, he's like he say things he can be like disrespectful.
Okay.
So I don't want to be around him because I don't want to be disrespectful to him. So
Amen.
it's better that I don't be around him as much, you know. Because he was okay when he wasn't drinking. It was fun, you know. Like, well, this is cool. When he started drinking again, I didn't even know he was drinking, but when his attitude changed.
Nobody want to be constantly hurt on, especially
so I'm like, and I don't want to be rude and disrespectful. Father. Yeah, and then, you know, he was just using me to get to mom, you know.
Mom said no. God said
he was using me to get to my mother. Yeah, he was. And then he noticed that my mother, you know, left that chapter closed, and then he started treating me bad. So I'm like, oh, no, I got enough people in my life treating me bad. So we're going to have to just, you know, keep this relationship on the back burner, like, you know, from afar. It's better that way. But I stay respectful. Try to stay respectful to him, though.
You ready for 3?
Yeah.
Getting close to people can feel impossible. Listen what it says. Okay. So we cover trust issues, but what about actually forming deep, meaningful connection with people? Yeah, that can be real challenging when you didn't have a dad to model healthy relationships, like Ivy said.
Yeah.
You might find yourself either clinging to people for dear life, terrified they'll leave you, or pushing them away before they can get close enough to hurt you. Intimacy, vulnerability, commitment. These can feel like foreign concepts. When no one was there to show you the ropes. When Heidi said they had no father, didn't even know how to talk to the girl. And the sad truth is, these attraction issues can dog you well into adulthood, making it tough to build a kind of stable, loving relationship we all crave.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because you said they're clinging for dear life.
Yeah.
Some people would do that though, you know. And
Getting close to people can feel impossible. That's what
I
it
did
says.
that a long time ago, clinging for dear life. And I was wondering when I was younger why I was acting like that. That's exactly what I feel about that. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he think, okay, yeah, mommy.
It's good.
No, he just checking me.
Okay. But yeah, you know, and you know, so Shelley, I thank you. So how about number 4? You ready for 4?
Yeah.
You may seek validation in all the wrong places. It's a clean for life.
It's so funny.
Please don't leave.
I know. It's
Like Devin from all my children. Whoever watch all my children, Devin's whole much head. Don't go. That was the most craziest thing I've ever seen in my
the
life.
sad part is, I did that before. It was my first boyfriend. It was awful. When I think about it, it's so funny. Like, it's terrible like that. It's so sad to be like that. That's not cool. Oh, what was you saying?
Okay, number 4, you may seek validation in all the wrong places. When you grow up without a father's love and approval, it can leave a void that you desperately want to fill. You might find yourself seeking validation from all sorts of unhealthy sources, toxic relationships, risky behaviors, maybe even substance. It's like you're trying to prove your worth, to show the world and yourself that you matter, even if your own father didn't seem to think so. But the problem is these kind of external validations are fleeting. They might make you feel good for a moment, but they don't heal an underlying wound of fatherlessness. Learn to validate yourself from within is a crucial but challenging journey. How you feel about this card? You may seek validation in all the wrong places, Shirley.
Yeah,
I see a man here drinking.
Yeah, but I used to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know.
But did it have something to do with the father?
Everything I did that was bad has something to do with the absent father.
Ooh.
I was angry. I used to beat people up, beat up their mama, sister, brother, kid, anybody.
I remember, yeah.
And that was because I was angry, and it was mostly because my father wasn't there. That's how messed up it was for me.
Wow.
And I didn't even know what had that effect, you know. But when you push those feelings under the rug and act like they're not there and they don't exist, they're gonna fester up and come out eventually. That's why those emotions got to be addressed. If they don't be addressed, eventually they are going to surface. And when it surfaced up for me, that's when I got angry and started beating up people. But like I said in another show we had, Sister to Sister, I said eventually I found some of those people that I beat up and apologized, and they accept my apology. I found some of them, you know, because I wanted to make it right, because I was angry. I didn't know how angry I was. So yeah, it can be real bad, you know, with a parent being absent. I'm sure people that's got an absent mother will go through that too.
You know that.
And so, after we go through the ones about the absent father, I'm sure there's something going on, like even with the dads there. There's got to be some issues because nothing is perfect.
And you got the feeling of unworthiness can linger.
Well, that wasn't too bad because I had God in my life when I was like 6 or 5 or when I was real young. So that helped me through a lot. But still things came out.
So you question your own value.
Yeah.
It's a feeling of unworthiness can linger. It says rebuilding that sense of self-worth or knowing that you are enough, just as you are, is a crucial but often challenged part of fatherless journey.
Yeah, that's what God helped you with.
It said you even may mourn the father you never had. Ain't that so?
Yeah, it is.
Yep. It said one of the most insidious effects of growing up without a father can be a lack of trust in yourself. Think about it. When your own father doesn't show up for you, it can be hard to believe that you can show up for yourself. You might doubt your own judgment, your own abilities, your own abilities, your own instincts. You might constantly second guess yourself. looking for validation from others because you don't trust your own inner compass. Learn to trust yourself to believe in your own resilience and resourcefulness is a key part of healing from a father absence. It's about learning to be your own best parent, your own most reliable support system.
You see, that reminded me of when when Brandon was in high school, and he was like, "Oh, I've been having football." Because I taught him how to play football, but he was like, "Man, I'll be wanting you. When you gonna come to the games? I always want you to come to the games." I'm like, "What for?" You know, but his dad wasn't there, so sometimes they replaced that with one parent with another. And I was like, "Okay, if you want me to come, I'll come to the games." But you know what that got me? I was voted the sexiest mom. Because I would wear stuff that, I mean, I was overdressing all the time. It took me years before I started wearing jeans again. I just dressed like that. I didn't do it on purpose, but I started showing up at his games, and it meant a lot to him. I didn't even know, but I can imagine how it would feel if a dad is not there, you know, for a child's game.
Interesting.
Say about that, honey?
Yeah, like when you saying on top of all this, and if the father not there, basically the person is gonna go into drugs, into liquor, and all these things, and then of all this, plus on all this, he can commit crime, go to jail. From there, when he's in jail, he's gonna be different persons.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Then he comes out
Crazy.
and crazy. Then he have kids. When he have kids too, he ain't gonna go see the kids either.
Wow.
So it passes on again.
Oh, that's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was commenting on what Cheryl said that when the son he didn't have a dad to show up for the game.
Football.
Yeah, I coached 28 years at soccer, football. I was a den leader, like with Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. And when I was like in sports many years, a lot of times that the persons like, you know, like John or my kids, like the kids that I coach, some of them didn't have dad. And they say, you know, I said, Danny, what's wrong? He says, well, my dad's supposed to be here. So he's playing and he scored a goal and he looked toward where
You
all
were.
the parents
To
watch.
see what, yeah, when nobody.
And you
looking
can
for
see
his
the
dad.
sadness on his eyes.
Oh, that's hard to watch.
Yeah, and then I goes, you know, I'll be like your dad. I'm like you pretend I'm not him or something, so I make him feel better.
No.
Not in the middle of the game or stuff like that. So he can have, he's not here. He can't pay attention what he's doing. You know, you give him good vibes.
That's real important. I mean, it's more important than guys. And guys need to be counseled and educated on the effect they have when they're not there. The effect that they have on their kids and on their family when they're not there. They feel
I
like
think
they're
you
not
need to
there.
bring this up. You need to do a part 2.
Yeah, because they don't. If they see it, sometimes it might make a difference just by them seeing the hurt and pain, how serious it is. Because it seems like it ain't no big deal. Sometimes, you know, it's like, oh, it ain't no big deal.
Yeah.
If they only knew how serious
And
it
go
was.
where for your adult life.
Yeah.
Mom, would you like that? Say without a father. I know it's hard for you to relate because you had one. Yeah, you
But
had
you know
a father.
people that didn't have some, don't you? Friends, you have friends that didn't have fathers.
Well, back in the day, most of them stayed together. The people,
Most of the people stayed together and raised their kids.
regardless.
Most of them I know.
That's why I would like to know about the families that stay together.
And over a period of time, people start separating and, you know, leaving the woman with the kids. And that's what, you know, that's why all this stuff come about.
You know, and that's true. It says, you ready, Chef? Number 8. It says you have a father-shaped hole in your identity. Fathers play a big role in helping us answer that age-old question. Who am I? When that piece of puzzle is missing, it can leave you feeling a little lost, a little incomplete. You might struggle to find yourself, to figure out where you fit in the world. Are you supposed to be like Dad even if you barely knew him? Are you destined to make the same mistakes to follow his footsteps? These are heavy questions to grapple with, especially when you don't have a father guidance to light the way. The father-shaped role in your identity can leave you feeling adrift, unsure of who you are and who you meant to become. You know what, Shelley, before you come, I want to say that my pastor said that. You know, she said her father was a good father, but a horrible husband. They used to just beat her mama to death. And, you know, so what happened to her? When she grew up, she became a killer. You know, she got a gun. She said, ain't no man gonna never do me like that. And one time she had to confront her father when she turned 18. She took her mother away. And he found her. She said, Daddy, either I'm going to run out in front of the car or I'm going to shoot you because you're not taking my mom. Because she was, remember, a little girl. And she tried to help her. She said she got flung everywhere. And just beat her. And she got beat because of what the other woman did to him. And he was the father. But he was a good father. But horrible husband. So see the man role behind he say, you know, the man provide, but look what you're doing to the kids. So when she became an adult, you can't kill them. You know, like.
So you know how we were saying, like, the parents make mistakes. They're not perfect. But those type of mistakes, come on. When you beating somebody, abusing somebody, treating them bad, that's unacceptable, period. I don't care if the kids came with a handbook or not. I think that type of thing is unacceptable, but you do got to still look at what happened to them. Did they go through it? Maybe they wasn't taught. Maybe they wasn't learned. That's why people need to be counseled before they even have kids. They should be counseled before they get married. And not just counsel to get that certificate, but counsel. Talk to them, ask them questions, see if they've been abused. And
another woman mistreated them. And then second wife, you never got healed from the other one. She probably, you know, was a hardly doing everything to him. He really loved her. But she didn't love him like that.
She took it, you know how they take stuff in the next relationship?
Yeah, that's what he did.
It's not going to just go away by itself.
That's why,
don't do that.
That's why the people that I married, I told them, you come to my house and talk to me before I married. And I married them. After they come, I anointed their head, prayed over them, and then talked to them. And then turn them loose. And like Shabazz and them, I was going to pray for them after they got married, because I didn't marry them. But we couldn't get around to it. Look like something always got in the way. So what I did, I had her to look me up some prayers. I looked at them and sent them in the mail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They still got that prayer.
Yeah.
Because the enemy was trying to keep me from praying over them after they got, well, I couldn't do it before they got married, but I could do it after, because see, like I didn't marry them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I believe that they should go into the extensive counseling. You know, they should, before they
deliverance. All this
they
pain.
can be through the Christian, that's better, because a lot of people just out for some money.
Just most getting married, it's gonna be some problem.
They should, and it should be a long period of time. It should be like some, you know, however long it take. You know, when you go to a counseling center, you ain't gonna just be in there for a second. You're gonna be in there for a minute.
Sure
if you're really trying to fix what you got going on wrong, oh my God, just imagine if somebody go to counseling and deal with the issues they deal with for even a year, each of them, because it can't be no one-way thing, and together and separately, a counseling for each of them. Then get them together and see if they still want to get married. If they get married, imagine what a great marriage they would have. They're going to understand it ain't going to be perfect. They're going to understand it it's going to be issues, and they're going to know how to deal with them better. They're going to take time out and use their brain, calculate when they're going to have a baby, calculate how much money they need, calculate. They're going to do it the right way. But you got to like think about these things. You can't just do it and expect everything to fall into place. No, you need money. You know, you need a place to live, you need a car, it's a lot of stuff you need. If you already got those things, then you just really need to have them emotions in check. You need to understand that just because you get married don't mean everything gonna be hunky-dory. And then you need to understand that when things get rough, don't just run off like forget it. That's the easy way out. Exactly. You gotta just persevere. You gotta persevere through everything. If you're gonna get married, really get married, because you know how many people just get married and divorce. I mean, I've been married a couple times, yes, but I learned. You have to learn these things. Nowadays, they get married and divorced like a revolving door. It's like, is anything not sacred anymore? Don't expect it to be perfect. It's not gonna be perfect. Oh, yeah, I'm married now. Everything goes happy. He loves me. Okay, so when he do something stupid or make a mistake, don't you despise when you make a mistake and somebody condemn you like you are a murderer. Like,
nailed you to the cross.
yeah, just because you made a mistake and it wasn't even a doozy. You know, it wasn't even a real big mistake. I don't think that people should be treated like that. But you got to learn how to treat people. You got to learn how to be in a relationship. You got to learn how to cohabit together. There's so much you got to learn before you get married. And it ain't got nothing to do with age. Because some people is older and don't even know how to do those things. So it should be extensive counseling.
I like that.
You know, it should be no time limit on it, but it should be extensive. It should be where they understand who they are. You got to see where their head is. You know, the counselor have to figure out where their head is. What's like, where are they mentally? You know, because people just get married. Some people get married for the wrong
They
reasons.
don't know the concept of marriage.
Yeah, but if they take that time to do the counseling, then they really do want that. Then you know they want the marriage, and they ain't gonna be so quick to walk away. You know, if something go wrong.
Yeah.
I'm so opinionated when it comes to things like that.
That's
I learned a lot.
You need that.
See, if they have love from the Lord in both of them, they have a happy marriage.
Yeah, that
You know what I mean?
love to conquer
That's
all.
what the main thing.
Also, use your brain.
And sometimes people like, I was divorced, you were divorced. I mean, there's something we cannot control when we can't know what destiny, what we live. But when you have love in both of them, you know, and there's no issue. And like Ma said here, that most of the people now, they get married several years later, they get divorced because things that the two couple are not patient. They're not patient. They're just like, I want to get divorced. Okay, well, if something too much salt in the pot, oh, I'm getting I'm leaving.
That's true.
You gotta think about the next person you're gonna be with.
And you think the other person be crazy than the one you just left.
Yeah.
You should have stayed where you was at.
Like Uncle Bill said, if I would have known I was gonna go through this with the third wife or the second wife, I would have stayed with the first one. He said, Uncle Bill said that. Yeah, because you know, people, are people still gonna go through something and they're gonna be perfect. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm ready.
Whenever you ready, I'm just making sure I got.
I get real passionate about that.
Go
You know,
ahead.
it's important to know who you are and to be able to be counseled about what marriage is. They really need to know. Unless they're doing it for reasons that's not right, money wise or something else. If they're doing it out of love for real, then they need to understand all the what's involved.
Shelly, you go. Listen to this. Navigating masculinity can be tricky. For boys especially. Boy that without a father can make the journey of manhood feel like uncharted territory. You might find yourself looking at all sorts of other sources to figure out what it means to be a man. Friends, media, and maybe not always the healthiest influence. Without a father to model the positive aspects of masculinity, things like integrity, responsibility, and respect, you might struggle to develop healthy balance sense of your own man, and you might overcompensate with being masculine. I'm the man. Or swing the other way and reject masculinity altogether. Finding your way as a man without father to guide you is not easy.
They should find out what it means to be a man because they always try to make it seem like a man can't show no emotion.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier. Men are not supposed to cry. Why not? And they say, well, nobody should cry too much because then it get clinical. But I'm just saying, why can't men show that emotion? Didn't God give them that emotion? Mm-hmm. That emotion should be able to be displayed by a man as well as a woman. Man was created before us, right? Mm-hmm. They should be able to do almost everything that we.
A man was created first. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Out of Adam. Wait a minute.
Man was first.
This was us out of Adam's side.
Right, so you're going to say man can't cry?
They're both created at the same time. Adam and Eve.
Okay.
The Lord made Adam and Eve at the same time.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Adam ate the apple.
Hey, anybody forced him to eat that?
And they said it might not have been an apple, it was fruit.
Yeah, but nobody forced him. He did it on his own. He could have said no.
No, he's supposed to say no.
And that reminds me of the women, because I don't want to get too far off track.
Sidebar.
Yeah, but the women, it's like they entice men. Men need to learn how to say no anyway. So